time for another tech archetype. This will be the last one for now. Next time I'll move on to a proper archetype. This is the Nimble archetype used by Andre from Team Unicorn, and yeah, this is the third time he's being brought up. Once in this video, once during the Naturia review, and once during the Unicorn review. So yeah, he has plenty of archetypes under his build, but I promise you this is the last one. So yeah, basically the gimmick of this archetype is dominated by level 2 monsters, which when one of them dies, 2 more replace the fallen ones. So yeah, it's a 5 card, no 6 card, 7 card archetype. Jesus, I can't count. 7 card archetype, like I said already. And yeah, let's go on with the first monster, Nimble Momonga. This is a level 2 Earth Beast with 1000 attack and 100 defense. And when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, gain 1000 life points. Then you can special summon any number of Nimble Momongas from your deck in face down defense position. So yeah, this card actually did see some niche play in Arrow Mages because of the life point gain effects, and because of its because it's an Earth monster and because it floats into 2 of them. You can basically pair it up with a level 1 tuner and gain a Naturia beast, or if you have a level 2 tuner on your disposal, you can go straight up into Barkion. And if you manage to get both of them, it's an Exterio. What can I say? But yeah, this saw play in the very old meta, where stalling was a bit more prominent. But yeah, this kind of can still hold up somewhat decently today. Like I said, the Arrow Mages can get some kick out of it when using it as Naturia beast material. But yeah, it's what I would consider of a decent start for the archetype. Not a decent start for the archetype would be Nimble Musa sabe. It has 200 less attack than Momonga, and it functions exactly like Momonga, battle destruction and all, except it's summoned to the opponent's side of the field and in an attack position. And not to mention that instead of you gaining life points, the opponent gets burned for 500. And of course, the trade away for the Musa sabes on your opponent's field is that they cannot be attributed for a tribute summon. Well, there's the archaic stall option, and then there's just giving your opponent free link material, Ojama Trio style. Yeah, just don't bother with this one. I have no idea what's the purpose of this thing supposed to even be. Like, give your opponent free monsters which you can run over and burn an additional 1000 damage, maybe? I'm not seeing it, so don't bother with this one. And next up we have Nimble Monta. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard by a card effect, you can special summon any number of Nimble Monta from your deck. It's essentially a different flavor of Momonga, since this basically works on effect destruction, and instead of face down defense position, you can summon them in face up defense position or an attack position. So yeah, if you run Momonga, then you run this as well, because it's always nice to have an option. Now, Nimble Sunfish is actually interesting. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, send 1 fish type monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then you can special summon 1 Nimble Sunfish from your deck. As opposed to all the other cards float into both of their copies when they destroyed. Nimble Sunfish is a classic battle floater which floats into only 1 copy of itself, at the cost of needing to send a fish type monster to the graveyard first from your deck. If it wasn't limited to a fish type, if it was like fish, sea serpent, or aqua, it might have seen some play in Merlentians in order to trigger their effects in some of their slower formats. However, this thing does actually combo well with a monster we'll get to in a second, because it enables some vast field presence, and that monster is Nimble Angler. If this card is sent from the hand or deck to the graveyard, you can special summon up to 2 level 3 or lower Nimble monsters from your deck except Nimble Angler. I don't know who didn't get the memo in the production team, because Nimbles do not have any monsters which are level 3. They only have level 2s and 1 level 4 monster, which we'll get to in a second. And yeah, basically, if you utilize Nimble Sunfish's effect to dump this thing into the graveyard, you'll basically get three level 2 monsters, which can either result into in a Link 3 monster or some rank 2 Xyz shenanigans. So yeah, but I really can't think of many relevant rank 2 options at this point. It can either be Daigusto Phoenix, Gachi Gachi Gantetsu, or number 96 Dark Mist. That's literally everything I can think of at the moment. But still, I think dedicated rank 2 players can certainly get some mileage out of this, and the Nimble Angler does see very relevant play actually in water-based decks, so yeah, it's good to have around then. And the last level 2 would be Nimble Beaver, which is also a level 2 water monster, and when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one level 3 or lower Nimble monster from your deck or graveyard. And yeah, this is basically an archetypal play extender, you could say, because it can fetch from the deck and the graveyard, but not from the hand, which is a bit... Yeah, I mean, I get how the archetype works, because none of the other cards can fetch from the hand as well, so it's kind of understandable. But yeah, the only other worst things about the card is that it eats up your normal summon, since this thing needs to specifically be normal summoned in order to for this effect to be applied. But still, that does not mean that this card is bad in the slightest, especially in the casual variants. Well, more casual variants, because this thing can see some niche competitive play, since the monster you pair him up with is usually either Nimble Sunfish or Nimble Angler, so yeah. Anyway, next up we have the final monster of this archetype, the level 4 Super Nimble Mega Hamster, and oh god, I so love this name. Anyway, it has a flip effect, where you can special summon a level 3 or lower beast type monster from your deck in face down defense position. Having okay stats for a level 4, and by being able to summon any beast type monster from your deck in face down defense position is neat, because well, it's any beast type monster, so it gives you more versatility to work with, and any old beast type deck basically run 3 of these because it was the best type consistency. And yeah, some even run it even today because there are simply no other better options. So yeah, it also has decent defense values for a level 4 monster with a flip effect. So yeah, it was back then a product of its time, but now a serviceable support card, if anything. And now it's time for the grades, which, let's be honest, are kind of expected to be 1 out of 3 in every category, because, well, it's a tech archetype, and tech archetypes gradings are usually determined by the gradings of the main engine you splash them into. And that is pretty much how I feel about this archetype. Nimble Momonga, like I said, was a card that was used very commonly in earlier stall builds, and it still gets the job done even today on occasion, like I said in my example with Arrow Mages. So yeah, it can certainly... I would actually like to see some continuations of this archetype, because I like their theming, and their aesthetics are actually pretty neat. Cute little animals. Furry little animals splashing the field with multiple copies of themselves and overwhelming you with their adorable cuteness and versatility in the most prominent stall builds ever to exist. I'm kind of rambling right now, but I don't care. I'm an entertainer after all, so I take what I can get. But anyway, that was it for the Nimble archetype, and next time, before we move on to the Collection Pack 2020 in I don't know how much time, when all their cards are revealed, I have one more archetype left to go, and before, like I said, before I move on to the Collection Pack 2020 archetypes, it'll be the last archetype analysis in a good while. So, anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos and updates. Comment, like, and subscribe. And as usual, I'll upload the next vid whenever I can. See you all, have a good day, and peace.